content creation has a whole different vibe to it. You have to be vulnerable. You have to, show people the practicality of it. They are not willing to, collaborate with you as much as you want them to collaborate. People think that creating content is no job at all. It is a lot of work. You are your own camera guy or woman. You are your own motivator. You are your own manager. You are your own everything. You have to literally do everything yourself. So the misconception is a major issue in the content creation industry. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome if you're new here. My name is Bertha and I film about wholesome content. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not. Please give this video a thumbs up already because I'm sure you are going to love this video. Now in today's video, I'm going to talk about the downside of being a content creator or a YouTuber. Now if you're a YouTuber, you're even going to understand this better because we get a lot of this energy most of the times, right? So I decided to talk about it. I'll see you in the next slide. Now, one downside of being a content creator is the misunderstanding behind the whole content creation. Now, people don't seem to understand or get it, right? Now, it is almost equal to people who, put cameras in people's faces. Now, recently, I met a guy. He was doing a survey about people who would allow their partners to have a bestie, whether they are married or single. Now, if you see them, you will think that, oh, what are these guys doing, right? But when they post their work, the guy eventually posted it on YouTube. When they eventually post their work, you see it as rewarding, like you see it as something tangible they have done, right? That is how content creation is. When a person is doing it, you will see it as irrelevant. So I'm just saying this to say that growing as a content creator or as a YouTuber is very tasking. Because you would want to have certain content with people, especially with family, right? And then your sisters will be like, oh no, we don't want to do this because, usually not because they don't have the time. It is because they feel like what you are doing, we don't even understand it. I mean, so why should we, avail ourselves to do it? Even with friends, they would want to do it with you to an extent. Not that they won't even support you at all, because I keep saying on my channel that my sisters are of great help to me in this my YouTube journey. All of them. Now I'm doing YouTube video now. I told them to be quiet. My sister is watching a movie on my laptop. I told her to mute it, So it's a form of help, right? Although I'm not shooting content with them, as in what I want to do doesn't mean that they're not helping me. They are going to help you to an extent. Now it also boils down to the fact that you doing the thing must also show a form of commitment to what you are doing. That is what is going to make them say, oh, my sister or this person doing this thing is serious about whatever they are doing. But you can't prove to them at a go. It's an ongoing process. They are not willing to collaborate with you as much as you want them to collaborate. The full support you would want from your family, from your friends. And again, like I said, that's not to say that they're not supporting you, but the fullness of it is going to be gradual, right? So you don't get that misconception about your crafts. Now, in creating content, you decide the type of content you want to create. Some people can decide to create travel vlogs. Some can decide to create educational content. Some can decide to create family life content, of which that content, if mostly you are not married, people do not really like to engage in that part of content creation. And they can decide to also create content about lifestyle issues, gossips, musicians, trending issues. You get to choose what you want to create content about. People will be like, oh, you are sharing too much, you are giving out information that are supposed to be kept secret and all those things. Telling people about your personal issues. Even if you are talking about academics, they'll be like, oh, your academic issues are supposed to be private, but you are spilling it out because you want people to understand what we are saying. You are being vulnerable for people to trust or understand what you are saying. You are spilling content. I get this from my sister a lot. She'll be like, oh, we'll share this one too, are you sharing it? But there's content creation has a whole different vibe to it. You have to be vulnerable. You have to show people the practicality of it, right? For instance, me talking about University of Ghana content, I talk about, how I have difficulties in my eyes, in my courses, and all those things, right? You have to share. People have to understand what you are saying from that point. It means that you have sort of have the experience, and then when they are talking, it gives whatever you are saying more weight. So, but I digress, right? So people tend to misunderstand your craft, and if you are not strong on the reason why you started YouTube or content creation, this may be a turn off for you, and then you quit it, right? So yes, people tend to misunderstand your craft, and until you make it eventually, usually they don't really understand what content creation is really about. So you have to keep proving it to them as you go along the way. Prove it to them that this thing you are doing is worth it. How do you prove it? You prove it by consistency. That's one of the ways, or the major ways, to actually prove your craft to people who have made it. The Kojo Sheldon, Wedemaya, Judy, and all those. Even those people, interestingly, they still have people who don't want to, support them, or people who still misunderstand what they are doing. People who misrepresent what they say, experiences they share, and all those things. Recently, Miss Judy was talking about, she went for a tour in, I think, Uganda, and she was amazed that they have is it buffaloes or something in their country, and people were insulting her, calling her all sorts of names, right? So the misconception is a major issue in the content creation industry, right? It's really, really a major issue. When you say something, then people twist it, people turn it, right? I guess it's part of human behavior, maybe, but I must say that this one is not a pleasant, human behavior experience to exhibit. I know people intentionally also, do that so they can get attention. I know. Now to the next point. So the next point is the vulnerability part. So like I said, vulnerability is one of the requirements that makes a good, YouTuber or a content creator. Now you have to show people that you have experience in whatever you're talking about. I am not too comfortable with being vulnerable or sharing vulnerable informations, but content creation has taught me. I got distracted, guys. So content, like I said, you have to keep begging people to be quiet. So like I said, content creation has taught me to, or is teaching me how to, be vulnerable, gradually. Now, in the sense that you are supposed to be comfortable with what you let out, not now that I'm saying you should be vulnerable, you just share anything anyhow. No, as and when you are comfortable to share, you share it, right? Yeah, so it requires a lot of vulnerability, which is in stages. Like I said, content creation is a full-time job. So I follow Nigerian content creators a lot, especially content creators who are more into family lifestyle issues, because my content is fundamentally on that. But I'm doing educational content and lifestyle issues at this moment. But that is where my life is more zoned in at the moment. Creating content comes with a lot of work. Now you are your own script writer, you are your own camera guy or woman, you are your own motivator, you are your own manager, you are your own everything. You have to literally do everything yourself, unless you have people you are working with. Anything contrary to that, it means that you are going to do everything by yourself. Editing, getting your equipment, investing in your channel or in your content, right? Yeah, so it takes a lot of work actually. People think that creating content is no job at all. It is a lot of work. Consider people who interview people across the streets. See how tasking it is. Taking camera and putting it on people's faces, right? It is really a lot of work, physical work, emotional work. It takes a lot, right? To create content, you have to make sure that you are well dressed properly, you are presentable, right, to your audience. You're not supposed to be appearing monotonous all the time. That is going to decline the number of views you have, even with subscribers as well. So it takes in a lot. It takes a lot. It really takes a lot to be a content creator or have a YouTube channel. I was going to say that one of the YouTubers I follow, Titoluwa Samoladapo, she was talking about you know the things that YouTubers go through to put up a content. It is no joke. You have to, like I said, beg your family members to be quiet if the place is noisy. You have to do a lot of things, right? You need support, and the support is even I'm even big, so much big on the support, because it makes a lot of difference, right? So if you're listening to me, you have not subscribed, please support me by subscribing, support me by giving this video a thumbs up, also support me by sharing this content to, or any of my content, to people that it will be relevant to. All right, so support is very important. I remember doing a video here talking about Maya missing his channel, and then people talking to YouTube on his behalf, right? That's support, right? Nobody is an island on their own. We all need shoulders to hold or climb to get to where we are going to, right? Yeah, so I think this is some of the few downside of being a content creator. The misconceptions I said, the lack of support, YouTube being very tasking. You pour a lot of emotional energy into what you are doing, vulnerability, being vulnerable sometimes so that your audience can identify with you. You have to build confidence. I even forgot to mention it, confidence, because interviewing people is no joke. You have to appear confident. You have to believe in what you want to do with them, the content you want to create with them, and all those good stuff, right? Yeah. So with this, I've come to the end of my video. I hope you did enjoy. If you're a content creator, I know you are going to appreciate this video more. Right? Yeah. So thank you guys once again for tuning in. Please subscribe. We're almost 1K. Yeah, so we can celebrate together. Yeah, so with this, I've come to the end of my video. I guess I've said that many times already. Thank you guys for showing up here once again, and see you guys in my next video. Bye. Somebody like me. Somebody like me. Wondering